During a twin flame journey, there are a lot of different patterns and signs you can look for, but none more commonly talked about than twin flame numbers. You might have heard or even seen yourself repeating numbers like 1111, 222, 999, or number sequences like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are an endless amount of these, and they all carry different meanings. We're going to look a little bit at where you might see them and what it means when you do. Understanding this can really help further your own twin flame journey. So, what are these numbers and how do you spot them? The easiest way to describe it is these number sequences are a message from the universe. Now, whether they're coming from your twin, yourself on a higher dimension, or from somewhere else entirely, their whole point is to get your attention. They're trying to draw your attention to something. Now, these number patterns will appear in a specific way. Just seeing a sequence of numbers at one point doesn't mean anything. You could look at your phone and see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and it would be interesting, but it wouldn't be a sequence. It's when you're repeatedly seeing these numbers in unlikely places, that's when it's trying to draw your attention. The more unlikely the sequence, the more important the message. Now, before you go looking for these sequences, it's important that you don't try and force yourself to see them by staring at every license plate or clock that you pass by. If there's a message to be seen here, they will present themselves to you. Being aware of them is good, it's helpful, but don't try and force it. Now, as for where you might see them, it could be literally anywhere. The more unlikely the place, the more important the message. But there are some common ones we do hear about. Clock times are a common one. You might see 111 as in the time 11:11, or 1234 could be 12:34 in the afternoon. If you're constantly glancing at the clock to see these patterns, that's a sign. You commonly see them, especially now with mobile phones and social media. You see them in message times and call times. Your twin might send you a message at 11 minutes past 11. You can see them in dates of birth or dates of events. You might meet someone on the 11th of November 2011, that kind of thing. You can see them in road signs, building numbers, phone numbers, license plates, bill amounts. Anywhere you could see numbers, these patterns can start emerging. Now, not everybody is ever going to have the same journey. These patterns are always going to be unique, but you do hear about some incredible coincidences where these number patterns are showing up dozens of times a day in the most unusual places. There is meaning behind them, but it is important that we don't try and force them. As for what the patterns mean, or what you should do when you are seeing them, that's where things get a little harder to cover in a single video. There are an endless number of patterns and sequences, and it's impossible to cover them all here. I will put a link below which covers some of the more common numbers we generally see on a twin flame journey. But if you do continually see a pattern that I haven't already covered, you can send me a message and I'll try and help you understand it. Or if you give it a Google, the history of numerology and angel numbers goes back a long time. Somebody will be talking about that pattern. Now, like I say, some are more specific to the twin flame journey than others. Some of these patterns are giving you guidance for the long term. They're reminding you that even during periods of difficult separation, that you're on the right path, that you're doing the right thing. Some of them are a lot higher energy, a lot shorter term, and they're trying to get your attention to something you need to do then and there, or something that's about to happen. There's a lot of signs you can see along the twin flame journey, but with number sequences, the meaning is very much about the actual number pattern you are seeing. In general, if you're seeing number patterns and sequences, it's a very good sign that you're on a twin flame journey. Don't worry too much if you're not seeing them. It could just be that you're not noticing them, or you're just not quite at that stage yet. I have heard of some cases where both twin flames never notice the numbers at all. Don't try and force it. Don't go out of your way to spot them. But simply being aware that there are patterns and sequences out there, slowly over time, you'll start to see these things.